Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Esther, I'm the founder of FLATZ Relocation and Let's Get Friends Expat Services. I've been working with expat clients for over 6 years now, help them settle, start their new life in France. On this channel, I will be sharing tips and tricks to make your relocation and expat journey a stress-free experience. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the question I get asked the most by my clients. How much does it actually cost from start to end to rent an apartment in France? If you want to make sure to have all the tips and tricks of renting an apartment in France, make sure to hit subscribe. And now let's see the cost of renting an apartment in France. If you rent through an agency, you will have to pay agency fees. In France, agency fees are regulated by law. This fee includes the viewings, negotiations with the landlord, and the lease agreement. The agency will also charge you an entry inspection fee. In France, doing an entry and an exit inspection is a standard practice. When you are moving into a new apartment, you will do an entry inspection with the landlord or with an agency if you've been renting with an agency. The agency fees cannot exceed the basic agency fees, so 8, 10 or 12 euros depending on the area, and the entry inspection fees, which are 3 euros. Let's see an example. You have found a 30 square meter apartment in Paris. For this apartment, you will have to pay 12 euros of agency fees plus 3 euros of entry inspection fees. So in total, 15 euros per square meter of the apartment. Of course, if you are renting an apartment through an individual without agency, you won't have to pay agency fees. The next cost you will want to consider is security deposit. The security deposit will be due upon the signature of the lease. For an unfurnished apartment, it cannot exceed 1 month of rent without the charges. For a furnished apartment, it is 2 months of rent without the charges. So for example, if we have a 2,000 euro apartment and 300 euros of charges, your security deposit, if it's unfurnished, will be 2,000 euros, and if it's furnished, it will be 4,000 euros. This amount serves as a guarantee to cover all the damages that may occur during your stay at the apartment. The whole amount will be restored to you at the end of your lease if no degradation are noticed during the exit inspection. This is why it is very important to keep the document of the entry inspection, because this will be compared with the document of the entry inspection. Next cost you will have to pay upon the signature of the lease is the rent of the apartment and the charges. The amount of rent is fixed by the owner and it will be indicated in your lease agreement. For example, if you enter an apartment on the 10th of the month, you will only have to pay rent from this day, from the 10th of the month till the end of the month. Then you will need to pay your rent each month between the 1st and the 5th day of the month. When renting an apartment, it can be a little bit tricky to understand how much it will actually cost you at the end of the month. You will pay, of course, the rent and the charges. Utilities such as individual heating, electricity, gas, and internet are almost never included in the charges. You will want to make sure to keep this in mind when fixing your rental budget, because depending on the type of heating and your use of electricity, it can make a big difference. If you use a relocation agency to help you guys through the relocation process, such as my agency FLATZ Relocation, this can be a really good option if you feel overwhelmed by your relocation process and you would need someone who actually understands the market and can help guide you through the process. Now, some important tips. In France, the agency fees are shared between the owner and the tenant. However, the tenant can never pay more than the owner for a primary lease. The agency fees must be indicated inclusive of tax. The agency fees that I mentioned in this video are for primary lease. There are many other different lease types, but the primary residency one is the most used. So that's why we talked about this one. That's it for today. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions and make sure to subscribe if this video was helpful, as more is coming. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Au revoir!